As the election season approaches, we find ourselves facing a familiar yet alarming trend of the Hispanic community being disproportionately targeted with misinformation, particularly through phone scams and fraudulent communications. With Hispanic Heritage Month happening this September, we're joined by Clayton LiaBraaten, Senior Executive Business Consultant for Truecaller, with tips on how help protect and empower the Hispanic community. Good morning, Clayton. How are you?
Good morning, James. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So, Clayton, what are some tools people can use to help protect themselves against scams?
Well, the very first thing I advise everybody to do, whether they're Hispanic or other, or if they're senior or young or middle-aged, is get to the ftc.gov website and put yourself on the do not call list. Now, the purpose of that really is to protect you from telemarketing calls and the criminals that make fraudulent robocalls and texts don't necessarily follow the rules, but it will reduce the amount of unwanted calls that you will get. The carriers provide some basic caller ID and spam blocking, but if you really want to protect yourself against financial scams, against political scams, then there are applications, mobile applications. Truecaller happens to be one of them. It's available in English and Spanish. It's free in the App Store and Play Store. That gives you the additional layer of security of a very dynamic database of identities and bad actors.
Why do you feel it impacts the Hispanic community so much more than others?
What we have learned is that they spend a lot more time on their devices, right? It's very central to their family and social circles, and even more importantly, their professions, right? A missed call could be a missed opportunity. Additionally, there could be some cultural and language barriers and a little bit of a lack of familiarity among some of that population with, the systems of jurisprudence over here, maybe the credit and banking systems. And so they've always been targeted, as long as I've been doing this, by criminals disproportionately and victimized. And unfortunately, they're twice as likely to lose money compared to the general population.
Now, how can technology help with this issue?
So first of all, the databases that the companies like Truecaller maintain are dynamically updated constantly. So you billions of calls seen a day. You look at the signals from those calls and say, "Hey, this number is generating hundreds of thousands of calls, but nobody's picking up on it." And then that active community of what 400 million global users is providing feedback. It's telemarketing. It's travel and hospitality. It is a scam. It is a bank scam, or it's an IRS scam, or it's an immigration scam. So that's really important. And I think right now what's highly topical is AI deepfakes. Especially in this election cycle. And so companies like Truecaller have developed AI call scanners to actually identify cloned voices and prevent those deepfake voices from ever engaging with the mobile user.
Clayton, could you talk about the QR code for Truecaller?
Yeah, so right now, Truecaller is offering a Hispanic Heritage Month special, 25% off of an annual subscription. The service is free, but the advanced services like that AI call scanner are going to you're going to get a 25% discount during Hispanic Heritage Month, which I think starts in 3 days. You can go to the website, learn more about fraud and scams. You can learn more about the applications. Again, iOS, Android, English, Spanish works across the board.
Now, where else can we go for more information?
Yeah, go to truecaller.com, look for the monthly scorecard, because that'll tell you what scams are trending, and it'll tell you by state. So you know if Texans are being attacked by student loan scams or something like that. There's also a lot of reporting that gets done just to stay ahead of the bad guys, because it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, the Iranians and the Russians and everybody else. Been speaking with Clayton LiaBraaten, Senior Executive Business Consultant for Truecaller. Clayton, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend. I think that first question, and you answered me talking about the FTC, I think you said. I'm going to go to that immediately.
Everybody should. You should tell your parents to do it. You should tell your kids to do it. Again, the bad guys don't follow the rules, but it will reduce the amount of telemarketing and telesales calls that you get. Because if a company doesn't have a relationship with you, they're not supposed to call or text you.
You got that right. Clayton, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend.
All right. Thank you for having me.